I'm Food Lady Dominique. Welcome to my kitchen. The first chills of fall have shown up, so it's time to make soup. And my first one is a cream of vegetable soup that has no dairy in it, totally vegan. And it packs a wallop of flavor and nutrition. And with its smooth, creamy texture, it is so comforting and nurturing. It's also easy to make, and at the end, you can combine it with different things to make it a whole meal if you want to, or just keep it as that wonderful, warming vegetable soup. So let's make soup. You want to start with a full head of cauliflower, chopped up rough. Then 2 cups of butternut squash, and here it's chopped fine because I went the fast and easy way. It was already done at the grocery store, but chopped up bigger, no big deal. The smaller the chop, the faster it'll cook, but it doesn't really matter. Then you want a large red onion and your choice of greens. So here I have 2 packed cups, I really pack it in there, of baby kale and 2 packed cups of baby spinach. But really you can go for any of the wonderful greens in fall. Now, of course, this, when it cooks down, it's all gonna fit in there. Then almost a full bunch of parsley chopped up again. You're gonna save the other part of the parsley to chop up and just sprinkle at the end. And then your spices. You want a teaspoon and a half of salt, some fresh sage leaves, a teaspoon of curry powder, and a teaspoon and a half of thyme, and a teaspoon of sweet smoked paprika. And then 3 tablespoons of olive oil, extra virgin olive oil. So what you want to do is you want to cover this up, or at least almost covered, because all that greenery is quite high, with water. As you can see, I've already heated the water just to get the cooking process going. And then you cover and you cook it until the cauliflower and the butternut squash are nice and soft. So let's cook, and I'll see you back after that. Welcome back. I cooked the soup for 45 minutes and then I let it sit for about 10 minutes because I am going to blend it, and it's hot enough as it is. I don't want to have it right at the boiling point when I'm trying to blend it. So the next thing you're going to do is you're either going to use an inversion blender or a stand-up blender. An inversion blender is much easier because you can do the whole thing at once. A stand-up blender, you have to divide it into separate bits because not all of it is going to go unless you have one of those great big Vitamix blenders. And you're just going to blend this, and it's going to get creamy because of the cauliflower. That's what gives it that great, airy, almost whipped consistency. So here we go. Already, and not too many splashes. I have made a great deal of soup because it keeps really well in the freezer. And so I divide it up into portions, and then any one of us in the family can have a bit of this wonderful soup when we need to warm up or have some great nutrition. But if you just want to make it for that evening, think about maybe doing half the amount of ingredients or a fourth, depending how many people you're feeding. And here we go. So, oh, there is some splashing on the plate. You see how beautifully creamy it is? Like a French velouté. So this is what I love to put on my soup. What I do is I do some of my sourdough einkorn bread croutons. Then for a bit of bite, I put some pickled sunchokes. And then a nice bit of green. And now it's ready to eat. So I'm gonna give it a test. The cauliflower gives it that great consistency, the butternut squash gives it a sweetness, and then the greens give it a nice bite. And then the curry powder just really brings it together. So at this point, you can also add a little bit of pepper and salt if you feel like it needs it. And what's great about this meal is you have a great vegan vegetable soup, but if you want to make it a whole dinner and you're an omnivore, you can add some chopped up grilled chicken, some chopped up chicken sausage, for instance, or bratwurst. And if you want to go keto, then you keep off the croutons, add some protein in there, and you've got a great keto meal. I play with the balance of vegetables that I put in there all the time. I keep that same amount of cauliflower, but sometimes I do more butternut squash, or I'll go into a pumpkin for more sweetness. I'll also see what I have in the fridge that needs to be cooked, and I'll add those vegetables. So there's so many combinations that you can do with this. So give it your own twist and let me know in the comments down below what you did and how it went. Please subscribe and click the notification button so that you know when my next video comes out. Have a wonderful fall meal. Buon appetito.